We are KB and Jasmine, and welcome to Beyond the Silver Screen.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, Stanley Kubrick. A filmmaker who's practically like the definition of cinematic innovation, you know?
Yeah, he wasn't just making films, he was crafting whole experiences.
Right.
Pushing boundaries left and right.
With storytelling, with the
And
visual.
even how we think about film itself.
Okay, so picture this. You start with documentaries, then suddenly you're directing these huge films across all genres.
It's wild, right?
War, sci-fi, horror. Like, was there anything Kubrick wouldn't tackle?
And what's crazy is you can see it in those early documentaries, even the short ones.
Oh, really?
Like Day of the Fight, back in 1951.
Okay, yeah.
His attention to detail, the way he structures the story, it's like...
Well, foreshadowing.
Almost.
Yeah.
You see hints of those later masterpieces already.
So it's training ground, then boom, feature films.
Right, with Fear and Desire in 53.
Didn't make a huge splash, though.
True, but it showed he was interested in those complex, controversial themes.
Like anti-war stuff, right?
Exactly. And that keeps going in Killer's Kiss, The Killing.
The Killing. That's one everyone says is like his first real film.
A lot of people consider it that, yeah. The plot's so intricate, it keeps you hooked.
So he's honing his craft, experimenting, building to something big.
And then comes Kirk Douglas.
Ah, that's huge.
Their partnership gave us Paths of Glory, powerful anti-war statement.
And Spartacus.
Epic.
Yeah.
These films really cemented Kubrick's reputation.
For tackling those big, important subjects.
But doing it with artistry, precision.
Those Douglas films launched him, didn't they?
No question. And what's interesting is, even the early stuff, the films Kubrick himself kind of criticized later.
They were still important.
Crucial, even. They shaped his artistic vision.
Okay, so then the icons, the films everyone knows.
Where do we even begin?
Full Metal Jacket, 2001, The Shining. They're part of our, like, cultural DNA at this point.
Full Metal Jacket is so visceral, you really feel the brutality of the Vietnam War.
And the psychological toll.
Part of how he does that is the lighting.
Oh, right.
Natural lighting.
Yeah.
Stripped away that Hollywood gloss.
He wanted it raw, didn't he?
Raw and real. It's not just action, it's about the dehumanization.
The trauma. It gets under your skin.
Then there's 2001, which completely redefined science fiction.
Visually stunning, philosophically deep. People are still debating it.
I remember seeing it for the first time, just blown away by the effects.
Groundbreaking for the time. And they hold up so well.
It's like he was looking into the future, bringing it to life on screen.
But it's not just the visuals.
No way.
Eh.
2001 is tackling humanity's biggest questions.
Evolution, AI, what it all means.
More questions than answers, which is part of what makes it great.
It's not passive viewing. You got to think. You got to interpret.
And you see that in a lot of Kubrick's work.
He doesn't handhold you. He trusts you to figure it out.
Which keeps people coming back, debating, analyzing.
And speaking of iconic, we can't forget The Shining.
Redefine horror, practically.
It's a masterclass in psychological horror, right?
It is. He builds this incredibly unsettling atmosphere.
So the way he uses the sets, the space.
Mise en scène, yeah. And the lighting, the sound.
He really gets in your head.
Yeah.
Plays with your perception.
Like you're trapped in that hotel with Jack Torrance.
The imagery, those twins, the blood. Here's Johnny. Unforgettable.
What's interesting is The Shining wasn't instantly loved. Some critics thought it missed the mark.
Wow.
But over time, it's been reevaluated.
Now it's considered one of the greatest horror films ever. Maybe Kubrick was just ahead of his time.
Maybe. People didn't quite know what to make of his films at first.
But now we see the brilliance.
And his influence on other filmmakers, it's massive.
Yeah, you can see it everywhere.
Nolan, Anderson, the Coens.
Not just the style, but the themes, the ambition.
They're all taking cues from Kubrick.
It's like his work is a wellspring of inspiration, constantly revisited.
And another thing that makes him so interesting, he mastered so many genres.
Not just one trick pony.
War, sci-fi, horror, historical epics. He did it all.
A true cinematic chameleon.
Always experimenting, challenging himself.
And the audience, taking us on these journeys.
But those journeys weren't always smooth.
Right, the controversies.
Kubrick's films, they provoked strong reactions, good and bad.
A Clockwork Orange, for example.
That one really stirred the pot.
The violence, the questions about free will.
People were debating its morality, its message.
Some found it disturbing, others thought it was brilliant.
And it still sparks discussion today.
The Shining had its share of controversy, too.
Oh, yeah. Stephen King himself wasn't happy with it.
He thought Kubrick missed the point, right?
That's what he said. But others see it as a masterpiece in its own right.
Like Kubrick transcended the source material.
And that's the thing about his films, they're not easy,
They challenge you, they make you uncomfortable.
but they stick with you long after the credits roll.
They force you to think critically about the world.
I think that's why they're still relevant today.
They tap into our anxieties, our questions about being human.
And some, especially 2001, feel almost prophetic.
Like he predicted our anxieties about technology.
AI, loss of privacy, all that.
It's all there, decades before it became everyday concerns.
And it's not just the themes, it's how he explores them,
Not giving easy answers, just presenting the complexity.
making us wrestle with the ambiguity.
Something we can all learn from, both as filmmakers and as people.
Being willing to ask the tough questions, embrace the unknown,
Challenge your own assumptions.
and be open to the power of visual storytelling.
Kubrick's films, they're more than just stories on screen.
They're immersive, they engage your senses, your mind.
Meticulously crafted worlds, you get lost in them.
Every detail matters.
The sets, the costumes, the music, the lighting, it all contributes.
So we've talked about the films, but what about the man himself?
Stanley Kubrick, the director,
More than just a storyteller.
a master craftsman.
Absolutely. His approach to filmmaking was legendary.
Meticulous, relentless, demanding.
He was involved in every step of the process.
From the initial idea to the final cut,
It wasn't just directing actors on set.
he was shaping every aspect.
The script, the cinematography, the editing, the music.
All part of his vision.
Which is what makes his films so unique.
They're not just directed by a talented person. They're the product of a singular vision.
Brought to life by a whole team.
Like he was conducting an orchestra.
Every instrument playing in perfect harmony.
And that led to long shooting schedules, lots of takes.
He wouldn't compromise.
It was all about realizing that vision.
And it paid off. Look at 2001.
Yeah.
Years developing the special effects, pushing the limits of technology.
And the result is still breathtaking today. So, meticulous craftsman, visionary director, but also a writer.
Oh, absolutely. Kubrick, the screenwriter, is often overlooked.
But he was deeply involved in the writing process.
He believed a strong script was the foundation of everything.
And his dialogue is so sharp, his narrative's so intricate.
That attention to detail, every word, every comma,
It all had a purpose.
serving the film, making it impactful.
And you see that in his films.
The dialogue is memorable, the stories are captivating.
He challenged the audience to keep up, to think
And even when adapting books, he brought his own vision.
like A Clockwork Orange and The Shining.
It wasn't just copying, it was reinterpreting, making it his own,
He wasn't afraid to deviate from the source material.
if it served the film.
Sometimes, like with The Shining, his version became even more powerful.
Than the original.
Like he unlocked the hidden potential of the story.
And brought it to life in a way no one else could.
But speaking of The Shining, it wasn't just the writing.
No, the visuals were crucial too.
His cinematography, so distinctive, so influential.
He was constantly experimenting, pushing the boundaries.
Like the Steadicam shots in The Shining,
Those long takes gliding through the hotel.
they create this incredible sense of unease.
You feel like you're right there with Danny.
Then there's the one-point perspective.
Drawing your eye to the center, this symmetry, order.
Used it in Full Metal Jacket 2001,
Almost hypnotic.
and the special effects in 2001, still mind-blowing.
He was inventing the future of filmmaking right there on screen.
He didn't use them just for show, though.
No, they served the story, creating these moments of awe.
His editing, so innovative.
Building suspense, creating impact, controlling the pace.
He'd shoot so many takes, spend hours reviewing them,
Looking for the truth, the most compelling moments.
and he understood ambiguity, subtext,
Not spelling everything out, letting the audience interpret.
inviting you to become part of the creative process.
And the music, the music.
Masterful.
He could find the perfect piece to enhance the emotion of a scene.
Like the classical music in 2001,
Strauss, Ligeti.
so groundbreaking.
It gave the film this epic, operatic feel.
That was a bold choice.
Kubrick was never afraid to be bold.
Always pushing boundaries, challenging himself, challenging us.
And that's why, all these years later, his films still fascinate us.
He was a visionary, a storyteller, a technical genius.
His films are a testament to his artistry, his vision, his dedication.
Now, for the next part of our deep dive,
We're going to focus on something specific.
something that often gets overlooked.
Kubrick's screenwriting.
People focus on his directing, his visuals.
But his writing was equally important.
So, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome back.
All right, so we just got done talking about Kubrick, the director, but now I'm really curious about this whole screenwriting side of him.
Yeah, it's fascinating. People praise him for those visuals, but the writing, it's equally masterful.
He really believed in that strong script, didn't he?
Foundation for everything.
Not just a director, but a writer at heart, too.
Absolutely. Sharp dialogue, intricate plots, you name it.
So even with adaptations, like Clockwork Orange, The Shining, he wasn't just copying the books, right?
No way. He saw it as reinterpreting, bringing his own vision in.
With The Shining, Stephen King himself wasn't thrilled with the changes.
He's famous for that, yeah.
But a lot of people argue the film's a masterpiece on its own terms.
It's a tough question, isn't it? How much should a director change when adapting?
Like walking a tightrope. Stay true to the spirit, but make it yours too.
And Kubrick definitely made The Shining his. More psychological, more symbolism.
It became something totally new, went beyond the book.
Okay, let's break down what made his writing so distinctive. The dialogue, for one.
Oh yeah, so sharp, so quotable.
Like Dr. Strangelove. Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Hilarious, but also insightful.
Exactly. Not just jokes. They tell you about the characters, the themes.
Every word carefully chosen, right?
Like it's doing double duty, entertaining, and making you think.
Master of subtext, meaning beneath the surface.
And then his stories, those narratives, they're so gripping.
Even with tough subjects, he kept you guessing.
Never dumbed it down for the audience.
Made you keep up, put the pieces together yourself.
And the attention to detail, every scene, every line.
He was obsessed with making it all perfect.
Like an architect designing a building, every brick has to fit.
His scripts weren't just blueprints, though.
More like works of art.
People still study them, trying to figure out his secrets.
Not just the technical stuff, but how he captures human nature.
The fears, the desires, the good and the bad.
Holding up a mirror to all of us.
His writing legacy is just as big as his directing, I'd say.
No doubt about it. He raised the bar for screenwriting, still inspiring people today.
All right, so we've talked writing, but what about the music?
Ah, yes, those soundtracks. Not just background noise, they're key to the experience.
They become like another character, adding emotion, meaning.
He could pick the perfect piece of music to make a scene hit you harder.
Like in 2001, no traditional score.
What with classical masterpieces?
Strauss,
Yeah.
Jetty.
Still gives me goosebumps.
So groundbreaking for the time, it takes the film to another level.
It's like he was saying, this isn't just spaceships, this is about everything.
Human evolution, the universe.
The music makes it feel grand, mysterious.
Not just music, it's part of the film's fabric.
Shapes how you feel, how you react.
But he didn't only use classical. Think about Singing in the Rain in Clockwork Orange.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So unexpected, so ironic.
Brilliant, though, right? Adds that layer of unease, subversion.
It's like he's twisting something innocent, showing how it can be corrupted.
And that's what makes his music choices so strong, that discomfort.
He knew how to play with your emotions, make you question things.
Using music to create an experience you won't forget.
Music's just one piece, though. We got to talk about those visuals.
Ah, the cinematography, those shots everyone knows.
He told stories with the camera, truly.
Absolutely. Kubrick understood it all, how to use it for emotion, suspense, character.
Like those long takes, those shots that just keep going.
Draws you right in, you're experiencing it live.
The opening of 2001, that slow pan across the prehistoric world.
Breathtaking, sets the whole mood.
You feel the awe, the vastness of it all.
And the tracking shots, gliding through space.
Like you're being pulled along.
Yeah.
In The Shining, following Danny on his tricycle.
You feel his fear building.
Camera becomes your eyes, guiding you through it.
And lighting, so important. Not just making things bright, but creating mood, atmosphere.
Like in Barry Lyndon, using natural candlelight.
Gives it that authentic feel, like you're back in time.
Incredible, he was pushing the boundaries with lighting.
Result is a film that's gorgeous and immersive.
Like painting with light. Those images stick with you.
And his use of color, bold choices.
Clockwork Orange, all those reds and blues.
Like a comic book, amplifying the violence.
Creates that unsettling dystopian feeling.
He wasn't just decorating. The color comments on the themes, too.
Power, manipulation, dehumanization.
Like a warning, showing how things can twist into something ugly.
And that's what makes his work so impactful. He doesn't hide from the darkness.
He embraces it, makes you confront it with him.
Through the camera, you see the world, through his eyes, the whole range of emotions.
It's a unique experience watching a Kubrick film, more than just a movie.
A journey into what it means to be human.
But there's something we often miss when talking about Kubrick.
What's that?
His collaborations.
You mean with actors, cinematographers, everyone who helped him?
Exactly. Visionary genius, sure, but he knew collaboration was key.
He couldn't do it all
He
alone.
needed a talented team to make those ideas real.
And he picked some of the best,
Jack Nicholson, Malcolm McDowell, Peter Sellers,
amazing actors.
cinematographers like Unsworth and Alcott, composers like Ligeti and Carlos,
It's like he assembled the perfect team for each film.
knowing they'd bring something unique.
And he pushed them, challenged them to be their best,
Saw the potential in them, even if they didn't see it themselves.
encouraged them to explore, to take risks.
It's real leadership, inspiring others to greatness, and the results are undeniable. His films prove that collaboration works.
When talented people share a vision, amazing things happen.
It's that symphony of talent again, everyone playing their part perfectly.
Creating something harmonious, unforgettable.
And these weren't just work relationships, they became friendships.
Kubrick was close with many of his collaborators.
You can feel that trust, that respect in their work together.
Like a family on set, united by their passion.
And that feeling of shared purpose, it comes across on screen.
You see the love, the dedication that went into it.
Adds another layer to the experience.
As we keep digging into Kubrick's world, we'll see more of those collaborations.
The unsung heroes behind the scenes.
Great filmmaking is rarely a one-man show.
It takes a village, a team working towards something special.
And in the next chapter, we'll see how those collaborations shaped his legacy. Man, what a journey this has been. Kubrick's directing, his writing, the music, the visuals, those collaborations.
It's like you said, peeling back layers. Always something new to find.
And it's crazy how relevant his films still feel, even decades later.
It's true. Like, he tapped into some timeless anxiety, those big questions about being human that never go away.
2001 is the perfect example. Made in '68, but talking about AI, humans and machines, technology saving us or destroying us.
It's more relevant now than ever, he'd say.
Like he was predicting our worries about the future.
And that ending, the star child, the monolith,
People are still debating it.
it asked those huge questions about evolution, consciousness, where we fit in.
And no easy answers.
It makes you think, even after the film ends.
And it's not just 2001 that feels prophetic. Clockwork Orange, that dystopia, the violence, the control.
It's all too real, isn't it?
Youth violence, media manipulation, losing our freedom.
Scary how accurate it feels sometimes.
Even The Shining, a horror film, but it goes deeper.
Oh, absolutely. Isolation, madness, the dark parts of us.
Things that haunt everyone, individually and as a society. Family falling apart, trauma, the cycle of violence.
Hits close to home, no matter who you are.
It's like Kubrick understood something primal about us, something universal.
And he put it on screen, these powerful experiences.
And he wasn't afraid of the tough stuff, the uncomfortable truth.
That's key, I think. He pushed boundaries, challenged us, made us react.
Not giving us the answers, just presenting the complexity.
Letting us grapple with it, figure it out ourselves.
Trusting the audience to be active, to engage, to form their own opinions.
That's something we need more of, in film and in life.
Facing the complexity. Being okay with not knowing everything, resisting the easy answers.
So, after this deep dive, what did we take away from Kubrick?
What did we learn?
The importance of vision, I think. Kubrick had that. A clear idea of what he wanted.
An auteur, they call it, right?
Exactly. Not afraid to take risks, break the rules, push the boundaries of film.
And his pursuit of excellence. Never settling.
Meticulous, demanding, always aiming for perfection.
Not just a good film, but a great one, a masterpiece.
But also the power of collaboration.
Kubrick knew he couldn't do it alone, even though he was a genius.
He brought in the best people, actors, cinematographers, editors, composers.
Created a space where they could flourish.
Trust, respect, encouraging everyone to bring their best.
And the result, some of the most iconic films ever made.
It's proof that collaboration works.
But maybe the biggest takeaway is how powerful art can be.
Kubrick's films aren't just entertainment, they're art that stays with you.
They make you think, they make you feel, they change how you see the world.
That's a real accomplishment to have that kind of impact.
So if you haven't seen his films, go check them out.
Explore them, think about the themes, let them challenge you.
You might not always agree with him, but you can't deny his impact.
A cinematic treasure trove waiting to be discovered.
And Kubrick's legacy isn't just about the films.
It's about the conversations they start, the questions they ask, the inspiration they give.
Embracing the power of stories, the importance of vision, the way great cinema can change us.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
We'll see you next time for another exploration.